Beast and the Beauty, Fernando.
Good morning. I must share the story with you. I was here on Friday night for the briefing for contestants, and after the contest briefing, someone gave me one of these bags. So I didn't know what was inside. I went home, I took the train back, and in the train, the bag tilted, and the two contents rolled out. I pretended it was not mine, and then a young girl came up to me and said, "Uncle, your shampoo and conditioner." But being Toastmaster, I knew what to do. I said thank you, and then I did like Contest chair, honorable judges, all you beautiful people, I have reconciled myself long ago to the fact that I'm a beast rather than a beauty. When I was very young, there was this pretty girl I was interested in, but every time I went near her, she would walk away saying, "You look different." And it went on a few times. She kept saying, "I look different." My dear friends, at that tender age, a word can paint 1,000 different pictures, mostly negative. I began to feel inferior. And when I was in my late teens, going on to 20, I realized that my head was out of shape and my face was full of pimples. I looked awful. I was the youngest son in a family of 12. So I decided to ask my parents why I looked like that. The others looked normal. So I asked my father. He was a joker. He said, "You look awful, isn't it? I'll tell you what happened. When you were born, the doctor pulled you out before giving the first customary smack. He saw your face, he wanted to slap me." Then he said, "Well, you go and ask your mother. You go and ask your mother." So I went and asked my mother. She said, "You look normal." I said, "I look like that." She said, "You look normal, son, but I'll tell you, after you were born, your father and me saw you, we decided no more babies." I asked her why. She said, "Well, we thought 12 is enough, that's all. You just decide to be happy." So I left school and I went to work in the government post office. I was not happy. I had no friends. I was feeling very inferior. I tried various stunts to attract people. I even went to the extent of taking part in a talent time contest. It turned out to be a disaster. The band played the right song, I sang the wrong tune. The crowd began to boo. I thought it was the chorus, I joined in the booing. Opposite the office where I worked, there was a water filter company. Every night they had motivational talks trying to get people to join them. Further down, there was a life insurance company. Every Saturday they had career orientation talk. I went for both these sessions often. I knew if someday I decided to leave my government job, I had choices. One day I was invited to this water filter company, and there was a speaker from overseas, so young, so dynamic, so convincing, so motivating. He was talking about the great life of salespeople, and especially water filter salesmen. I listened and listened. I was so convinced. I went back home. I couldn't sleep that night. I decided the time had come for me to move out. I wanted to be a salesman. Water filter. So I ran to my office the next morning, drafted a letter of resignation, gave it to my superior, and later in the day I went and joined the insurance company. 2 years on and I was not doing well, no sales. Then my regional manager said, "There's a company psychiatrist coming. Why don't you talk to him? He specializes in dealing with salespeople. Tell him your problem." So I went to see this company sales psychiatrist. He was a fat, jolly character. He had a light beard and a weird laugh that went, So he said, "Come, Fernando, sit down. Tell me your problem." I told him I feel inferior. He asked a few questions. I gave answers. Then he explained. He said, "Fernando." I said, "Yeah." He said, "You don't have an inferiority complex problem." I said, "No." He said, "No, you are inferior." Then before I could recoup myself, he said, "Oh, it's a joke I got from the magazine. But you don't worry, you just do 2 things, Fernando. You just decide to make friends, don't worry about how you look, and then reach out to people. Can you do that?" I said, "I'll try." And as I was leaving, he called me back. He said, "Fernando, come here. Try to comprehend this." And then he told me, beauty is in the eyes of the person behind the eyes. My dear friends, until today I can't comprehend it. But I tried, I reached out to people, and I found something very surprising. That while physical attributes are important, what is more important in developing relationships is care, concern, and a commitment to friendship. I found that people like people. Ladies and gentlemen, my message to you is this. There might be some of you just like me who feel you're not as pretty, as good looking as the others. Don't worry, don't be concerned. There's a place for everyone. For those of you who are pretty, good looking, glamorous, I have to remind you that beauty might be skin deep, but it is not lifelong. Beauty, my friends, got a shelf life. The advantage with we beasts is that all the time we're on the shelf. But I have found, honestly, that beasts of beauty, all of us can do attractive things, earn handsome rewards, and by choice, feel glamorous. The choice is ours. It's up to us. If you don't see it, then you got to clean up here, you can see it. Finally, my friends, from my experience, I found also in developing relationships and initiating new friendships, a sense of humor helps. Because after all, laughter is the best icebreaker. Thank you.
One minute silence, please.